this thing called the Brady Rule. And that does oblige the government to hand over potentially exculpatory information that could involve information about informants. In the Michigan case, the lead defense counsel in that case, I believe his name is Blanchard, has made this a key part of the defense strategy to point out the extent of infiltration and the nature of what the informants were doing. It's one thing if it's just they have informants passively sitting around. It's another if the informants provide such proactive support for the plan that it wouldn't have happened had it not been for the Fed's involvement. And it looks like that's the case in Michigan, and that's become a key part of the defense strategy. I think similarly, the defense counsel in the 1-6 cases, they need to get up to speed. They need to wake up. They need to take some cues from the Michigan case, and they need to make the infiltration, the federal involvement in 1-6, a key part of their defense strategy. I think that will help the defendants, and also will help the American public get the full truth, or at least a fuller truth, about exactly what happened on that day.
Why do they not want us?
Why?
Why do they not want us to see the tapes? What do you think is on the tapes?
That's another great question. I don't know. I can only speculate. I would imagine that if the tapes were made available, you'd see a lot more instances of provocateur type activity. I think even more so, you'll see instances of maybe Capitol police officers letting people in the building and so forth. Mm-hmm. And that would discredit the narrative that people were just bashing in and going in. Most people went in when it was already inviting them with right. Open doors. And as for the people who are bashing down the windows and so forth, they appear to be coordinated, and they're dressed all in black, and we still don't know who these people are. And I suspect that maybe the government has footage of that type of activity that they don't want the public to have. So those are just some possible reasons.
In the aftermath, we had the Capitol Police go silent with the police officer that shot, which is bizarre because you know the name of the police officer within 5 minutes of a discharge of a gun in almost all cases. Right. And then you had the Nancy Pelosi authorized the Capitol Police to get Pentagon equipment to become an intelligence agency and listen and track people in D.C. Tell me about that.
Right. Well, it's an interesting development, and the Capitol Police seem to be expanding their operations. They're opening up a shop and base in Florida. They're expanding. It's strange. But they enjoy certain advantages. For instance, Capitol Police, as a legislative institution, they're exempt from FOIA, which is an advantage for an institution of that sort.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. It's disturbing that would happen to any kind of sort of enforcement organization, the kind of militarization that you see, especially when the militarization now is basically pointed at 70 plus million Americans who happen to object to the direction of the Biden regime and otherwise. So it's just part of this new trend, this